it again for the
So
folks.
what you want? What you want? BCs were good back in the day. I'm telling you.
This is the Varsity Brews podcast. On that note, and we are three of the best entertainers that you've ever met in your entire life. Vahid Sadrzadeh, Aaron West. Oh, you're showing me the live.
Yeah, it's showing you live, but it doesn't show us yet.
So the latency is like 2 minutes.
Oh, latency is 2 minutes?
We're on 1080, buddy.
Oh, okay.
We're on 1080, so the latency. And, of course, Mr. Evan Sharpley. What's up? I'm Vahid Sadrzadeh. Let's change this out. I'm changing on the fly, buddies. I'm changing on the fly. What's up with you guys?
Nada. Just sipping on a couple of beers. Been up since 3 a.m. when my son snuck home and came through the downstairs basement.
Whoa.
So we're probably going to have a father-son talk a little bit later.
Oh, baby.
That's what happens to kids in high school.
Who has the sound on?
Not me.
Are we live?
Okay. Is that better?
Fixed.
I'm like I hear myself 10 times. So you had an early morning.
I had an early morning, yeah. I told my son he's like, Papa, I'm going out for a little bit with my friends. I said, don't be late. I'm sleeping on the couch, which I normally do when I get up for an early brew day. Because I normally get up about 3:30, 3:45 to try to be at the brew by 4 a.m. to start brewing.
How is that air at that time of day? Extra fresh?
It's brisk. It's brisk.
Extra fresh.
So the boys came rolling in about 3 a.m. and I'm like, and they woke me out of dead sleep. They did the polar opposite of what I asked them not to do. So,
What boys?
How'd you handle it in the moment?
I have not talked to my son yet.
Yeah.
So Aiden, if you're listening, yeah, you're going to get a little father.
It's coming.
So it's coming. It's bringing the heat.
Well, we're going to talk preseason today.
Love it.
Can't wait to get enough of the preseason. Obviously, Notre Dame kicks off the 2024 campaign at Texas A&M August 31st. Your boy's going to be in SEC country.
Oh, you going for that?
Yeah, I'm going to that. Cannot wait. I don't think it's going to be Alabama SEC country, but I think it's still SEC country, Evan.
They do it well there.
Have you been?
No, but don't they burn something down? Or they used to. Was it there? No, I'm serious.
I honestly, I think I heard that today. I think that was a tragic situation.
I thought that was something that they did every
but like
home
I think
game,
people
and then somebody died, and they stopped doing
what?
it.
Yeah.
This was a few years back.
You're going to have to look that one up.
I was going to make a Ben Harper reference, but I guess that's not appropriate.
It's like this massive...
Yeah, we're not a political show, but I guess we are because we went there last time. That's why we decreased our listenership by 50% after last episode. Kyle Field, 105,000 people on hand for Notre Dame and Texas A&M. Not an easy place to get to either. It's not like going to New York or going to Chicago. You got to hop on a plane, then hop on another plane, and hop in a car, and you're there. Kind of like South Bend. So, I don't know. I don't know how Notre Dame's going to do. We can start right there. I've been to most of the practices, and
Before we get there,
please.
Okay. The Aggie Bonfire was a long-standing annual tradition at Texas A&M as part of the college rivalry with Texas. So for 90 years, Texas A&M students built a bonfire on campus, known in the community simply as Bonfire. The event symbolized Aggie students' quote-unquote burning desire to beat the hell out of TU.
Jeez.
It was usually lit around Thanksgiving, and they'd throw trash, yada, yada. It got to this immense size, setting a world record in 1969. And then in 99, the bonfire collapsed during construction and killed 12 students.
That's not good.
One former student and injured 27 others, so they declared a hiatus. However, since 2002, you're not going to. This is just for the Texas game. A student-sponsored coalition has constructed an annual, unsanctioned, off-campus student bonfire.
Is that led by Johnny Manziel?
Should be.
I think they have a memorial set up there somewhere.
That's crazy.
That is a crazy story.
That is nuts.
And they have the 12th man, which I don't know. Do you know anything about the 12th man? I don't know a lot about it.
Isn't that just a stadium? It's a student or the 12th man.
It's kind of like their student cheer kind of section, but like we're doing a story on it actually, so I'm going to find out more in a couple weeks. But
better do some homework, buddy.
You're telling me I'm not the one doing the story. I'm just editing it. So, but I'm going to learn a lot. We're talking preseason football, of course. I forgot our sponsors, so shame on me. We are brought to you by WestWind Brewery. Buddy, you got the chain. I forgot you got the chain.
Listen, I got the chain. I got the country meats over here that we've given a few samples out. These
all samples.
Natural beefs. It's Evan's on this health kick over here.
Oh god!
I figured I had to give him something to keep him like healthy and looking good. But yeah, no, we. I figured
AI version of Aaron is definitely eating those right there.
If you haven't seen the AI version of Aaron, I wish we could show it here. Somebody pull up a picture because it is ridiculous.
Which one do you want?
It's his screensaver.
Do you want the CEO one?
That's the jiu-jitsu version of Aaron. But WestWind Brewery, of course, Rustic Rocks. Gabe's still doing his thing at Notre Dame over there.
Baby.
Gabe's still working on the Notre Dame project. Oh, hold on.
It's ready.
Put that up to
Where
this
do you
camera.
want it? This camera?
Here, let me put it up to this camera.
Okay,
I'll hold it.
This is me in my executive Patrick suit.
Your office smells of rich mahogany.
Sex Panther.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
90%.
It took me a little bit of time to figure out how to do
100%
this, so this is pretty
60%
good. Somebody asked me, "Is that?" My wife says, "Is that your? They look like your lips." I'm like, "Honey, that's me in AI." I'm messing around with a little bit of technology.
I'm not either. Yeah. So, Rustic Rocks, WestWind Brewery, and of course, Legacy Performance. My guys.
Yeah.
Can I get a sample?
For sure.
I didn't get a sample.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, we got you.
We got you.
I could not believe it.
Use our code, by the way, Varsity Brews 24.
Here's what I'm going to say, too.
I didn't know there was a code. Man, I'm on the outside looking in.
Those early morning brew sessions are going to change even more now.
All right, love it.
You're going to have a little protein shake, cold plunge, and you're going to be ready to go.
Hey, I've already got the cold plunge. Okay.
Or actually pre-workout probably in the morning.
All right.
Yeah.
Post-brewing, we'll go with the protein.
Love it.
Buddy, hey, listen, man, I have taken off 10 pounds already.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Is that because you use the Varsity Brews 24 code?
Well, I do have the protein with their creatine every morning, and not like
you just put the creatine in.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Yep. So like basically, it's half water, half almond milk because I have to drink almond milk, half and half, and then probably 10 ounces I would say because I like to go large.
Any vodka?
Buddy, it's not on the diet.
Oh, okay.
And then put 1.5 scoops of the chocolate protein, and then I go with a scoop of the creatine.
Was that 5 grams?
Yeah. The creatine.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
So thank you to our sponsors. Of course, we are talking Notre Dame football, and we've got a couple of stories to share with you from WestWind Brewery about what they're brewing up here.
Oh yeah.
Buddy, you need to tell these stories.
I don't.
It's like a fiction book, maybe different names, different whatever, but just tell the story.
Tell the story.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we'll get there.
Good. We're talking preseason football first. All right, let's get started. The season starts in a couple weeks, August 31st. Notre Dame at Texas A&M. Gentlemen, who you got?
Evan,
Texas A&M.
win it
Yeah.
by.
We're already doing score predictions?
Well, maybe we could just wait.
Okay.
Well, let's
13. Throw a number out there right now.
So I will say, I've been at practice a couple times. The defense looks very, very solid.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
This is former player coming out. What portions of practice are you allowed to see?
The garbage portion.
Okay.
So the first 5 periods.
All right, so you're seeing warm-up, stretch, hump each other, probably like run up and down the field, throw the ball.
Yeah, like the stuff
every
that
guy
they
scores
actually...
a touchdown. Got it. Okay. I just want to make sure.
They look really good in that.
Okay. I wasn't sure because some programs And
they let you watch.
I don't touch it in field as much as I used to. As a player, obviously, I was. When Weiss was there, it was pretty closed off. It was very similar. You got to see some of the opening. It was the same thing. Like I always tried to make stretch as awkward as possible for all the media, especially when they were videotaping. Whatever the quarterback I was stretching, I was really good at stretching other people out.
So you just go to other guys and just stretch them out?
Well, no, we had a partner that we'd go active stretch lines. But
who was your partner?
Well, it was David Wolke for a bit, Brady Quinn, Clausen.
Who did you like stretching out more for the media?
Well, Quinn was really flexible. Jimmy, not so much. He was a little more built like an old man. But I just try to make it weird for everybody. But anyhow, I digress. You didn't see much. Some programs have a lot more access, and then when I graduated and came back on the media side when I was working for 24/7 Sports, it was pretty limited with Kelly too. I think we saw a little bit more. Their practices were structured a little bit different too. But for the most part, I think that you're not going to see a whole lot, so it makes it really, really difficult to get a good feel. You're going to see depth chart usually. You're going to have an understanding of who's going to be doing what and where. But even one of the practices during fall camp every year where the media would have full access was our special teams practice. So for an hour and a half, you could get pictures and videos of everybody, but like half the team's not doing anything. And programs are very strategic on that. So it's very, unless you have an inside source, it's pretty tough to get a good feel for how things are going.
Well, and it's not full speed either, right? I mean, right. So like you're seeing, let's hand the ball off, let's do a couple of get together in the center.
Yeah. Slap each other's butt a couple times. You got it.
Absolutely. That's really all you're seeing. And then after the first 5 periods, you're ushered out.
For sure.
And then we go set up for the media availability. Let's just talk about what I've seen. Defense, good. I think
as expected, right? I mean,
yes, as expected, the defense is going to be kind of. Allison used the word cornerstone the other day, but sure. They're going to be strong. The back end of that defense with Xavier Watts and Benjamin Morrison, I mean, that's going to be the strongest part of the
thoughts
team.
Thoughts on up front, because I'm telling you, you're
the back up front of the defense,
yes, because the back end can cover sins for up front, but it makes a big difference when you can create some pressure or force you force quarterbacks into poor decisions.
You just don't know about the ends.
Mm-hmm.
Riley moved away from the ends, so now he's kind of interior of that defense. And listen, I mean, like he's got a lot to prove this senior year. I mean, I want to say he's underperformed his first few seasons at Notre Dame, but certainly he was touted to be kind of the next edge rusher of the Irish, and I don't know if he's panned out that way. They moved him inside to a new position. So, again, when you talk about the run game with Notre Dame, that's going to be a big key. But pass attack. We've been talking about this forever. I mean, since the late 2000s, who has Notre Dame had, right? We've talked about this. Who have they had on the outside to force that pressure? And again, maybe not so much the offense, because I know we talked about, hey, is the offense going to score points? But as the defense, if they can play like they played last year, the year before, I mean, they've got a shot at any game. You're going to hold somebody to 20 points a game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason it rings true. I mean, defense wins championships. I think my biggest red flag going into this season and kind of why I've continued down the same path of where I think Notre Dame is going to end up this year is, will the offense score enough points? And if they don't, is the defense going to be able to create those opportunities on a game-in and game-out basis? They can't have a bad game, in my opinion.
I agree with that, but I don't know that they play a strong enough schedule
for sure,
other than Texas A&M other than Florida State, who's not.
Here's you're right on paper. But what have we brought up quite a bit the last couple times we've talked is the parity in college sports right now.
That's true.
I'm not saying that there's a team on Notre Dame's schedule outside of Texas A&M that jumps out and is going to be a playoff contender. But you could have somebody that maybe we haven't paid a ton of attention to because we're not covering transfer portal and how they've approached things in that nature, where maybe they've added a few pieces that make them a little more dangerous. That's why for me it is the preseason predictions now in this new era is hard. It's really difficult.
Yeah, I mean, here's where I stand on that. I would get it if you're playing some mid-levels in the Big Ten.
For sure. Okay.
Like, okay, if you're playing Wisconsin,
yeah,
who's like a mid to upper tier. If you're playing Michigan, if you're playing Nebraska maybe, right? Like, if you're going to play...
Because they're supposed to have a good defense this year, yeah?
They're supposed to really have a good team this year. If you're going to play Clemson, right, like they did last year, Louisville at Louisville, they're not playing those teams this year.
Yeah, there's really... You're right.
They're playing Purdue. They're playing Army, Navy, Georgia Tech, USC, who they've had their way with for the last 6 years. They're playing...
I think that game may be scarier this year because there's not a Caleb Williams on the team.
Really?
Maybe it's all right, But to your point, I'd say, yeah, you're right.
That's why I think, and I'm not trying to be a Notre Dame fanboy homer here, which when I say 12-0, it always comes off that way.
Yeah, it does.
Aaron Weston, Michigan. So, I think based on they beat Texas A&M. Who's going to stand in their way? But it doesn't matter because they're still going to be a 5 seed. So whether or not they go undefeated or not, it doesn't matter. They're still a 5 seed, undefeated, playing the first round of the playoffs.
Yep.
So, I mean, I do think they walk away with one loss. I think it's the Texas A&M. Riley Leonard right now looks pretty decent. They have a stacked quarterback room. Let me just tell you that right now. It was asked by the media the other day, hey, Minchie, why are you here? Steve Angeli, why are you here? Why do you continue to come back?
Specifically to those guys?
Specifically to those guys. And Steve Angeli's answer was, because I'm not a quitter. That was his answer.
That's a good quarterback room, then. It's a great answer.
Hey, I think it's a great answer.
I respect that.
That's a good leadership answer.
And essentially...
It makes the whole room better.
Absolutely. I think Steve Angeli is one of those quiet leaders that you have in the room.
Evan Sharpley.
Right. It was
Got to get him out on the field.
It was C.J. Carr who passed for 225 yards in the blue gold game. So based on that, he looks good now. They're like doing some oop-de-oop plays and whatever in preseason. And
that's a great segue for a little Varsity Blues.
Oop-de-oop. Oop-de-oop. Oop-de-oop, coach. And also, the last thing I'll say is, guess who's keeping his arm warm? Tyler Buckner, baby.
On, he is not.
Is he throwing left-handed now?
Throwing?
Look on my Instagram page. I took video. He threw 30 consecutive balls to wide receivers. He's standing there. Is this normal, Evan?
30, where? What's the context of the practice?
Okay, so you're in the 5th and final period that you can watch.
Okay.
The wide receivers are running like a little out route, okay? Like a cross route. And
is it just a line of receivers?
Yes.
Were the other quarterbacks with running backs or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a warm-up period.
But I will say this.
Didn't he come back for lacrosse, though?
Yeah, but then he walked onto the football team as a wide receiver. Number 26. He was calling signs the other day, plays from the sideline. So he was standing next to the ball person. They're handing him the ball, and he's throwing.
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman is 20 yards away watching every single pass that he's throwing to the wide receivers.
Or he could be watching all the receivers.
Or he could be watching
catching passes from a receiver.
Tyler Buckner.
Hey, he went down to Bama. Got a little heat.
Listen, if it was just that, I would be like, cool. The answer that we got from the quarterback's coach, Gino. Hey, is it tough? And this is a question asked directly to him on Saturday. Is it tough with a quarterback room that deep to get everybody reps? And his answer was, absolutely. That's why we divide them across the field. You saw half of them over here, half of them over here. And then you have Tyler Buckner throwing out routes, like 30 kids. I have it on my social media. I mean, I just, where else are you going to see that? Where else are you going to see a former quarterback throwing darts? I just don't know. I mean, could they use him in a game? Could they use him in that first game? Could they use him as like a decoy?
I sure hope not.
You never know. Listen, he went down and played at Bama. I mean, that had to, like, toughen you up a little bit, right? Little steel balls. I mean, you're down at...
Little steel balls?
I mean, you went down...
This isn't a kid's show anymore.
Hey, listen, when you go down to Bama and you get a couple snaps and you're playing under...
He played one game, right?
Yeah, he played one game. Although he got, taken
they
off.
They won 3-0.
Hey, did it not set up something for... Sometimes you have to take baby steps to get to the step that you're supposed to get to, right? Or sometimes you have to get cut. That's another story. To get to the next level where you want to be.
Gudas.
Right?
The satchel.
Judas. But it's true.
How do you guys feel about it? You think it's maybe a good sign for him?
I'm okay with it. Yeah, I mean, hey, there's lots of injuries throughout the season. So, if he gets a chance.
I would just say that the fact that you saw him at that station doing that doesn't mean anything.
That's fair. And Evan probably knows more.
Evan knows way
it could
more
be,
than...
It's your choice on that, which it could be a trainer doing that. But you have a guy who's a quarterback, so he's going to throw better probably than a trainer.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
So you're going to get better reps for the receivers. I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate on that. I'm not outside the realm of possibility. I mean, I said we may see him before we see C.J. Carr.
And I did say that at the press conference. Not to them, but I did think that. Hey, they're
so I know I'm busting your balls a little bit on this, but he has experience. Okay,
mm-hmm.
Game experience.
Mm-hmm. So
if something does happen to Riley Leonard, who has the most experience on the entire Notre Dame roster at quarterback?
100% Tyler Buckner.
Tyler Buckner does.
Went to a bowl game at 10-2 and won the bowl game.
Not to say that they don't have confidence in Steve Angeli or Minchie. I'm not saying that's the case, but
they don't, right? I mean, let's just be 100% transparent and honest here, okay? If Steve Angeli was the guy, would you go out in the transfer portal 2 years in a row to get somebody?
No, probably not.
So
you're looking for an upgrade.
So that begs the question: is Steve Angeli the guy next year? Do you go out in the transfer portal next year and get somebody, or is it Steve Angeli?
I don't think it's Steve Angeli. No, the bigger question is I don't know if they go out and get somebody else. It depends on who's available, really, to be honest.
Well, I mean, then you have what happens to Minchie.
Again, I don't think it matters as much. Having you need a really good starting quarterback, and you need a serviceable, a B+ to A- backup. The rest of the quarterback room doesn't matter anymore.
Is that what Notre Dame has, you think?
No. And here's why.
Would you take Orgy over?
It's the same position. And
Riley Leonard.
Who?
Michigan.
Oh. Michigan guard, yeah. He's battling. Orgy. Orgy.
Would you take an Orgy over?
That's his name, Evan. It's a Disney show.
Got it. It's way over my head here.
Listen, I know the Michigan roster inside and out here.
Wow.
I better get a sip of beer.
What was the question? Who am I
Would
taking?
you take an orgy over Riley Leonard?
No. No.
He's a dual threat.
Doesn't matter. And
Do you think Riley Leonard's
for-
a top 10 quarterback in the NCAAs? Do you think he's a championship-winning quarterback?
I mean, if the simple question is, do I think Notre Dame's going to win a championship this year? No.
I'll take those odds.
Okay.
This year, more than ever.
They have the favorable
Here's
schedule.
what I'm going to... I think Notre Dame's team last year is better than this year's team.
Whoa.
Wow.
Dude.
Where?
I
hey,
don't know.
hey,
Well,
hey,
their running
where-
back situation
where
is
did
way
they-
better
Where
last year.
Where did they get better this year?
Well, arguably, some would say quarterback.
I think it's negligible.
I mean, you had a running quarterback last year, too. He used his legs. Clemson, he had a 40-yard touchdown. He had some plays against Ohio State.
Yeah. But if that's Riley Leonard's game,
Defense
and you
is
brought
better.
it up a million times, what if he gets hurt?
I'm worried about that.
And okay, that back to my point
He's
that I was going to make.
injured,
That I was going to make a couple minutes ago. What that is, okay. In a pinch, you
Yep.
need to have a guy like Tyler Buckner. If you aren't 100% sold on the previous two guys, I'm just saying. In a, let's say he gets hurt, Riley Leonard gets hurt,
Yep.
and Notre Dame has
Yep.
the ball, and it's 3rd and 8.
You put Steve Angeli in. That's why he's your backup quarterback. But here's my point, though.
I'm not saying that they're going to put.
But did you?
I'm not saying he's going to. But what message is that going to send? You're playing quarterback. You're the backup quarterback. Okay? You're the backup quarterback to Brady Quinn. You got a wide receiver that walked on the team after leaving the team the previous year. They bring him on, and it's 3rd and 8. And they're like, you're in.
I'd be pissed.
That would freaking suck,
Oh.
man. But what message does that send to the rest of the team if that's the case?
I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just,
I mean,
You don't
that's why I think C.J. Carr would see more playing time this year. I think Tyler Buckner
no.
in an emergency situation.
Ready?
Yes.
An emergency in a game. I'm also, because I think my statement was, I would say that we would see Tyler Buckner make a start. Is that correct, or play?
I think it was
It was play.
play. Maybe it was
I
start.
don't know. Maybe it wasn't. But let's say again, something happens to Riley Leonard. You got a week then to prepare. I don't know. They're probably still going to start Angeli. I think we're just talking about this too
Hey,
much.
2 Varsity Brew podcast seasons ago, didn't we? What was Buckner? Was he a 4-star?
Yeah, he was a 4-star.
He was a 4-star, wasn't he? He wasn't a 4-star.
I mean, he was.
Okay, well, but
Threw for like 1 million yards.
I mean, can we
yeah, he
just,
threw. But
one
he,
of the
like,
smallest
I
divisions
think if you go back and listen to 2 years of podcasts ago, Vahid was pretty high on him. Like he was an athletic guy, threw for a lot of touchdowns, right?
I think Tyler James, he was the highest on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Matt was.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
He's a viable option.
He
as a backup.
was highly touted coming out of high. He was literally crushing everybody
That's
in
what I
high
thought.
school,
Uh-huh.
scoring 60 points a game,
Yeah, he was
using
in the
his legs.
smallest division in California. California?
Yeah, California. The reality is they've got a stacked room. You could throw any one of those guys out there, and I'd say you have an equal chance to win, including C.J. Carr.
Okay.
I think C.J. Carr is. Now listen, Riley Leonard is a great personality. Lights up the room, comes in like he's
Have you
one of
talked to him
these.
yet?
Yes, he's
Yeah.
he's one of
Got a good brand.
yeah, he's one of these guys that like comes in, personality on the sleeve, like high energy guy, really friendly, big faith guy, like really, really at that level. Steve Angeli is kind of just
Business.
he's my business. Like he does it. I don't know, man. This is a tough call this year. I mean, I think.
What's a tough call?
Well, I think the record is a tough call
Oh.
because they could
Back to my
stumble
question.
ever.
Where do they get better this year?
Defense got more experience.
That doesn't mean they got better. It's the same guys.
You might have me here. No, I mean, hey, listen, I'm calling.
I don't think they got
spade.
better.
Like,
I think their schedule got worse.
Meaning softer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this schedule is like one of the softest
Listen,
But here's
Notre Dame's got
I had this conversation.
favorable.
I had this conversation with someone. It was kind of off of your question that you posed. Who has a better record?
Yeah.
This year, Michigan or Notre Dame? And I was talking at work with a Michigan and Notre Dame fan about this.
Nice.
And the Michigan fan immediately went to how weak Notre Dame's schedule was. I go, doesn't matter. He goes, well, you don't. Wouldn't you want a good strength of schedule? They should join the Big Ten. I was like, in the 12-team playoff era, Notre Dame should schedule the play against the school of the blind every week and just get in at the 5 seed.
Yeah.
Why does it matter? Strength of schedule is thrown out. Just win.
Yeah.
Again, a one-loss Notre Dame team.
Boy, oh
And I will
boy.
go. And I go out on a ledge because we brought this 2. If they lose 2,
That's the chain.
I
right
still
there.
think
That-
they're in every single.
That is
All right,
that
that
comment
chain-
right there.
Gosh dang it. I lost it
What
after
did I
I
say?
lost it after one show?
Wow.
All right, hold on.
Well, just hold the chain,
Just
but
hold
it
the
was
chain.
chain worthy. It was chain worthy.
Oh.
Yeah, hold the chain. Hold the chain for
Still
that.
yours.
But in reality, that is a hell of a good point. Strength of schedule does not
Notre
matter.
Dame doesn't ever have to join a conference now.
No, I know.
Never.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah, I know.
So give it to
Not
her.
ever.
Come on, baby. You deserve it. Polish that bad boy out. There you go. That was a good comment, though.
From origin to
Jeez.
boy, you're right. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter.
Just
because
get in.
everybody else, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Texas,
They're going to beat each other up.
everybody's going to be Georgia, Alabama. They're going to beat each other up for a lifetime. And Notre Dame is going to be like, oh, we're playing Michigan one time this year in 2032.
Yeah, I think 2032. 2032 through 2034, I think so, yeah.
God
Good
almighty.
strategy.
Well, hey, that's brilliant because they're going to get in. Hey, listen, let me okay, I'm going to ask you the question.
But you can't hang a
once
banner
again,
for that.
I'm going to ask you the
I
question
know,
one more
and-
time. I asked you last week. I'm going to ask you again.
Yeah.
If they lose one game for the rest of eternity and they don't hang a banner,
It's not good enough, but Marcus Freeman will still be the coach because he's so damn pretty.
would you want that as a...
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
That's consistency in a program. I mean,
would you want that as a fan?
Absolutely.
A Michigan fan?
Absolutely not. We had to wait, 10 years for Harbaugh to do his thing. Harbaugh came in, first couple of years, we're like, oh, the Messiah's back, right? And then we went through
Sounds like a true Wolverine. to
we
me.
went through years 6, 7, and 8, right?
I got a great question.
It was a little bit rough, but guess what? In the end, here's what I'm going to tell you. Jim Harbaugh just set a legacy, and he is an icon forever in Michigan because with the new playoff system, when is the next time a team's going to go 15-0? That's what I would think.
yeah, but the question was
Georgia this year.
would you?
There's
would
no
you-
way.
Would you, as a fan, a Michigan fan, be okay with 11-1 and making the playoffs and
No.
never winning a championship
No.
again?
The answer is no. That's real
So-
simple. The whole point, reason you play college football is to win a national
So,
championship.
you play to
let's
win
say-
the game.
You
let's-
play to
it's-
win the game.
Let's say the new coach at Michigan.
Yeah.
He has a
Sharon.
Sharon. Let's say he has a 5-year run
My Sharona.
of going 11-1, and that one win, and they beat Ohio State
Yes.
every year.
Every year.
Every year they beat Ohio State.
That's good enough, though.
But I'm saying he does that that's acceptable for 5 years. How many? That's 55 wins in 5 years.
55-5 in 5 years.
That's legendary. That's Brian Kelly at Notre Dame.
Yeah. He set that up. That would. Hey, you might as well put
All-time
that on tape
winningest coach at
and
Notre
just
Dame.
yelled 4.
My family.
It's a good segue to vacated
Yeah.
wins.
Yeah. Do we need a vacated wins? It is a good segue.
Listen,
know.
they want Harbaugh to vacate wins so bad.
Yeah, they do.
It is an absolute witch hunt.
Oh, boy, here we
yeah,
go.
I'm telling you what.
All of last year, every week.
I've been
My
saving.
source.
I've been.
Listen, we've
I've
got
been-
to hear about this forever now
I've
because
been
it's a
saving
win.
this one. Listen, in the brewery here, in the back of the brewery, if you ever come visit the brewery, look in the back because I have a 15-0 Michigan Wolverines national championship. It's got
Evan,
Harbaugh.
Evan.
It's got
Still wait,
JJ
Evan,
up
your
there.
matching
Evan,
tattoo.
can you freaking imagine if Detroit won a freaking
Oh,
championship
man.
this year? Oh my God, we would never, ever hear the end of this ever.
What a great 2-year run though if that happens. I mean,
Paul, what's his name? Paul
Feinbaum,
who
SEC.
just resigned his new contract. Great, Paul. Good for you, buddy. Congratulations. You know, let's give him a little clap. Nobody cares about the SEC. Big Ten, baby. Most vacated wins of all time.
ABC cares about the SEC. Just signed a multi-year deal.
All right, well, that's all right. This is WestWind.
Step into a Slim Jim.
Number 10. It's actually directly a tie. Syracuse and Tennessee have both vacated 11 wins. Number 9, that other state that happens to be to the east of Michigan, 12 vacated wins. And number 8, Florida State, also has 12. So
This is all time.
all time vacated wins for like you either got in trouble, NCAA busted you. Basically, you've given up wins of where they're at. Number 7, USC 14, North Carolina at number 6. They gave up 16 games. Oh, here we go. Alabama and the Notre Dame University gave up 21 vacated wins. Is that even right?
University of Notre Dame.
Same difference. All right.
it was a witch hunt.
It was a witch hunt. Dude, listen, they're number 4, 21 vacated. That's a lot of wins.
For who?
Notre Dame and Alabama.
It was Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
That was the
it was the
academic thing.
The academic thing. You remember that?
yeah, it's because
3,
school's too hard.
Louisiana at number 22 vacated wins. Number 2, Ole Miss. Saw somebody in my neighborhood with an Ole Miss sign. So my kid's going to Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is good. They have reciprocity. Reciprocity. Thank you. That if you have a kid that needs to go to Ole Miss, they can go with Indiana and you get the same discount.
Oh.
Little tidbit. 33 vacated wins for them.
I think Alabama has that as well.
And number 1, your BK Super King.
So where's Michigan on this list?
37 vacated wins for LSU. Michigan's not on the list. That's the whole point
Well,
of why.
none of those.
If you look
none
at
of
what
those
I
are for
sent
BK
you,
though.
no. But I'm just saying the whole point of this is Michigan's a good
You know
program. They're not cheap. August 27th. Watch it on Netflix. That's my pleasure.
Everybody's cheating. They're just not getting caught.
That's probably true too.
Everybody has done something.
That's only the top 10.
How many?
Vacated wins?
That's top 10.
Top 10. Yeah.
Hmm.
But you think about that though. So you're either okay.
There should be a witch hunt on Notre Dame.
There should be a little bit, right? Well, wasn't there when that whole thing with
There's
the
no
whole,
witch hunt on Michigan.
Hold on, when BK was there and the whole like the student scandal thing, like
Yeah.
that, there was a little bit of witch hunt on him. But you know what? BK was a winning coach at Notre Dame. I don't care what anybody says. You know what? Is he arrogant? Yep. Is he good? He won games. Isn't that what college football is?
Just to win the big ones.
Win the big games, right?
He didn't win the big games.
Well, I know. That's
No,
why
he
he's no
won
longer
games,
there.
just not the big games.
He didn't win the big games.
And again, that goes back to our ultimate thing. If, I don't know, what's his name? Michigan guy.
Harvey.
No, the new guy.
Sharon.
Yeah, my
Sharon?
Sharona.
My Sharon.
If my Sharona wins 85 games in 8 seasons and doesn't win a national championship, does he go down as a better coach than Jim Harbaugh?
No, absolutely not. Because
Would you fire him as an AD? Would you fire him?
Okay, so college football has become every 5 years. Michigan's not going to fire him because as long as he can hold up the academic approach to it, the sports approach to it, and you're running a clean program where you're winning games, you're winning big games. Out of those, what did you say, 85 games or whatever it is, you beat Ohio State, half the time of that. I think programs now are looking for 2 things. Run your program clean, go as far as you can in the national and win a national championship, right? Not every team's going to win a national championship. University of Louisville is not going to win a national championship, probably ever. Right?
Okay, so Marvin Lewis, the Cincinnati Bengals, went to the playoffs every single year for 8 seasons. Didn't get out of the first round. Got fired. Finally, after 8 seasons. And I mean, you said it last week. The line was, you draw the line somewhere. But what's good enough? What's good enough?
Well,
Is it good enough that you? Well, is it good enough that you signed the contract for 10 years for TV deal at $300 million? Is that good enough? What is good enough? I mean, that right there is the question in college football now. Transfer portal, NIL, what is good enough for these teams to be okay with having a coach that gets to the Final Four but can't get over the hump?
My thought is, and I'm just going to be like my high level of approach on it is, in college football, there's probably a half dozen, maybe 8 to 10 teams that can actually win the national championship. And let's say that fairly, right? University of Louisville is never going to win the national championship. You're
really killing on the University of Louisville.
Well,
what do they do to you?
but what I'm saying is, though, there are certain coaches that take stepping stones to go from one college to the next, right? That's part of the coaching, where you start off at a smaller school, you move your way up. You know, if you look at, like, even what Tressel did, I mean, he started off at Youngstown University?
Youngstown State, thank you. And kind of moved his way up and then got to the epitome of what Ohio State is, one of these 8 to 10 teams that I'm talking about that can actually win a national championship. There's probably no more than 10 to 12 teams, and this is my personal opinion, Evan, you may disagree, but that can win the national championship every year, right? Michigan's one of those teams. Notre Dame's one of those teams. I think Florida, Florida State, Texas, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, and I'm rambling a little bit, but Clemson, those are all teams that are, in my eyes, those are part of the, let's call them the elite programs, where these smaller coaches that play at coach at smaller programs work their way up and get to a level that's so high to bring home the national championship. That's the expectation. You've been in college football. You've played college football. Is there politics in college football?
For sure.
We were talking about politics earlier.
Oh, man, we were talking about politics.
Oh, yeah.
Corporate politics, yeah. There's everything.
Well,
there's not a script, if that's what you're asking.
I mean,
I could write a book.
If Detroit Lions win the Super Bowl this
year, there's maybe a script.
All I know is we're going. Hey, all I know is if the Lions go to the Super Bowl, we're going. That's all
I showed you screenshots. Nick, buddy, if you're listening, we need to win that raffle.
I'm trying to wrap my head around, because you asked a good question. I mean, I don't know that answer. I think some of that may have to do with the fan base and public opinion. If you're doing those things that Aaron mentioned, where you're running a good program, you're winning a mix of big games. One year maybe you make it to the Final Four, you make it to the championship.
Yep.
I think there's something to be said about consistency, but there probably would come a point where maybe there's just a parting of ways, where, hey, I've done all I can here. Maybe not. Maybe I think the days of old where you have coaches, I'll throw out maybe
Barry Alvarez.
Yeah, or Joe Paterno.
That's a fair comment.
Bo Schembech.
Great example.
I just don't think we're going to see that tenure of 20-year coaches that are there the entire time, especially now where, let's say you're on that track for 4 years, you're 11-1 every year, and then you have 2 years where you only win 8 games and you miss the playoffs.
Right. What happens then?
So we're talking euphoria, right? I mean, I think any program would love to win 11 games every year and then make a run. Let's try to make a run in the playoffs. That's consistency. So I don't know how to answer your question, because I don't know if there is an answer to that. Because I think by university and fan base and how they quantify that, what I would say is, I would think at Notre Dame, if Marcus Freeman wins 11 games every year, you have a brand new AD coming in too, right? So I don't think he'd ever get fired.
Stay there a long time.
I think, again,
would the fan base...
And he's got nice suits.
I mean, okay. Yeah, he dresses nicely. The question is, has the fan base, maybe specifically at Notre Dame,
They have not changed. They will not wrap their heads around that 10 11
I think
wins.
they have.
You do.
I think
Why
they
couldn't
have.
they do it for Kelly?
I think they've resigned to the fact that they're going to win 10 and 11 games every single year, and they can't win a championship.
Really?
You think they've succumbed to that?
Is that a new poll?
Based on the comments I've seen,
Wow.
based on the fan base,
Did they just get beat down during COVID? Is it?
no. Listen, I think it's so okay. I'm gonna use the example of Barry Alvarez. You made a really, really good point there. Based on if this is Michigan, it's not acceptable. If it's Ohio State, this is not acceptable.
Yep.
I mean, you see it right now. That dude has taken them to 11 win, 12 win seasons, and there is still talk of him getting fired after this season if he doesn't beat Michigan and go 12-0, 11-1.
I think he does get fired if that happens, yeah.
However, a team like Wisconsin, we were terrible in the 80s. We had a great tradition, 1960s, then we kind of dropped off, whatever. Barry Alvarez comes in, and he literally takes a team to the Rose Bowl twice in a row in the early 90s. Then he takes them to the Rose Bowl again in the late 90s. We developed this habit of going to the Rose Bowl. But we knew as a fan base, like literally growing up, you knew you're not going to win the national
That was
championship.
the pinnacle.
That was.
Yeah.
It was like Rose Bowl, and you're like, I'm freaking happy about the Rose
Heck
Bowl.
yeah.
Yeah, like I'm happy about. Now, are Notre Dame fans happy about the Gator Bowl? Hell no. However, I don't think there's this almost. I don't know how you want to put it. I mean, is there a relatable team in the NFL? Like, have the Dallas Cowboy fans come to expect that the team is not going to win a championship in the near future?
That's a fair analogy.
They should,
Like,
but
They should.
They should, right?
They've got
They
enough talent
should.
to win.
They've got enough talent. They've got the team. They've got the coach. But yet somehow year after year, and everybody is making the analogy, Marcus Freeman to every single other coach that has come in at Notre Dame in the last 50 years. The third season, that coach has taken them to a national championship. This is Marcus Freeman's third season at Notre Dame. I just don't know if the fan base, yes, they care about the team. Yes, they love Notre Dame. Yes, they expect to win. Do they expect to win a national championship? I think the answer is they would be pleasantly surprised after what's happened over the last 30 years.
That's fair.
30 years. No, more. 40. 1988.
It's the last time they went down.
1988. So you make a really good point as to what's the culture like? Is it Northwestern? Oh, yeah. If I'm a Northwestern fan, I'm freaking happy they're going to the Rose Bowl. Who cares about a national championship? But if I'm Alabama, and you just had how many? You've built a winning culture. You've built a championship. Georgia? Anything other than a national championship game for Georgia is a disappointment at this point.
Fair.
All right, so now I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm done. All that to say, let's do the predictions. Let's get some beer and let's call it a night.
Yeah.
With all that to say, does Notre Dame beat in the opening game of the season? Do they beat on the road Texas A&M? Final score.
lost by 13.
Yeah, I bet they can.
Woo!
I'm sticking to 10-2.
10-2. All right.
I'm going to go with the Irish.
Oh, by the way, 10-2, and they make the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah, I buy that.
I think they make the playoffs.
I'm going to say the Irish win a squeaker, like 3, away at Texas A&M.
They've got some kickers this year, man. Good.
So that's my prediction.
Wow. So they
Only by 3, though.
And what's the?
It's gonna be tight.
What's the win?
Overall record?
Yeah.
I think Notre Dame will be. They got a real favorite. I'm gonna say 10-2 too. I think that's a fair. Yeah, I mean they got
11-1.
11-1, 10-2.
Yeah, I've got 11-1.
11-1.
I think it's doable.
I think it's doable. Notre Dame teams in the past have lost opening game, 2 opening games, and gone on a run. I think this is one of those teams. I think Riley Leonard knows his coach all too well. for this game. Obviously, he's playing his ex-coach. That's the headline. Notre Dame's got some talented wide receivers, so watch out there. I will say, like, those guys are transfers. They're good. They're fast. So I think it's going to be tight, but I just don't know if Notre Dame's going to pull it out. They've had problems at the end of games in the last couple of years pulling those tight games out. So we'll watch that. But I think it's a loss. I think they go 11-1, but I do think they make the playoffs. Michigan's
going to be 9-3. I think it's a real fair analysis.
Boy.
Some people may question that, and there's no way.
Playoffs?
Evan's saying no.
I think they can squeak in at 9-3.
I think, here's what I'll tell you. I think Michigan's going to squeak in at a number 11 or number 12 seed in that new spot.
Can you imagine Michigan at Notre Dame in a playoff game?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they make a big enough impact, maybe win the Ohio State game, lose a couple that they're not supposed to lose type thing. I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to say 9-3 too.
9-3?
Yeah, and I'm on the fence on playoffs. I think it's year one. It's hard to say.
New quarterback, new coach.
And what the committee, I think, too, and kind of how they're going to approach some of these, how the Big Ten or SEC kind of beat each other up. And
yeah.
Michigan's defense is still going to be solid.
Well, hey, you still got Donovan Edwards. I mean, you're not, the defense is still going to be solid.
I should clarify, too, when we're talking about strength of schedule, doesn't matter. It does for
Michigan.
It does for Michigan. Just so we're on the same page. It doesn't for Notre Dame.
It's going to be a rough.
For those teams, quality losses do matter.
It'll be a rougher year in 2026 than it's going to be this year. That's
for sure.
What do you mean by that?
There's still enough talent in the pipeline right now that this year that I think it'll be okay.
Some guys that played last year.
Great
running back.
Yeah, good. We got some solid running backs.
And that was the MO last year was control the line of scrimmage and run the football. And
I'm more worried about 2026.
Yeah.
So. All right. Do you want to grab some beers?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to continue to go live here if you want to grab some beers.
Okay, I've got a couple new shares coming up. I think I've got a Forgive back there, a Satchel of Judas.
All right, please tell us the story.
I can't tell you the story.
Why not?
I don't know. We do it, crack it.
Okay, go get them.
All right.
Let's crack them. Let's crack a lackin'.
Right. Oh, look, it's right here.
It's ready to go.
It's right there. It's ready to go.
All right, which one are we doing first? Probably Satchel of Judas first.
Well, you got to tell the story chronologically.
Okay, I guess it is.
Satchel of Judas is what this one's called.
Yes, I caught a little heat from it. Like people are like, "Why'd you call it that?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know."
Who are the people?
There's a guy named Joe.
Now we're storytelling. Let's
go.
Joe
Dirte.
Joe Dirte.
All right, Satchel of Judas.
Satchel of Judas.
And what is this? What is
this? This is a New England IPA brewed with a crap ton of Vic's Secret. This is on tap at the brewery. There's probably a half barrel left. It's been pretty popular. It's got a nice little dankiness to it, but Vic
tastes like a traitor.
Vic's Secret is a very. I would give him one, but he's on.
That's
he's
all right.
on
Let me
wagon.
take a swig.
All right, you want a swig? Okay.
Satchel of Judas. This is an IPA?
It is New England IPA. Yep, hazy. Vic's Secret. But it is. I brewed this beer. I was watching a show, and I'm like, I talk about like people in my lifetime that have, I've been engaged with, whether it be at the corporate level or friends that have been around,
Yeah.
I think it's important for people to recognize that always try to take care of friends. Like, do your best to try to help somebody out. And guess what? Friends are going to betray you. People are going to talk shit about you. And I think this beer was made as probably a reckoning or like a release of me just saying it's okay to not be my friend or not help WestWind out and go to the next level. And a few of my regulars asked me. I think they kind of caught on to what it was. It was probably a beer for, which is going to lead to the next beer, but it was me just reminding myself that even though when you do really, really good stuff in the world, sometimes there's not real good people in the world. That's what this beer was made for.
What is Satchel? The bag?
Yeah, satchel is back in the olden days. In the biblical terms, it was a thing you carried in, and going back to Judas, who betrayed Jesus, I guess.
Right. What was the Satchel of Judas? Never heard of it.
Yeah, the Satchel of Judas was the money
He carried the coins.
He carried the coins that when he betrayed Jesus, the Roman soldiers gave them to give the whereabouts of Jesus.
Did they call it a satchel?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, that's what it's called. And so I was like, I love this name. I kind of fell in love with it. I put the name together from a couple different things I was watching and names that I was messing around with. And we actually have the satchel. If you want to come to the brewery, it's hanging in the backside. So it always, anybody comes in, anybody wants to see it and know, hey, you're going to be betrayed sometime whether you start a business.
Is fucking deep, dude. Like, this is just...
If you ever want to come in and know what the true satchel is, it's sitting in there. So, if you need to pick it up, come get it.
Okay, so in a matter of weeks, you went from Satchel of Judas to Forgive.
Yeah. So in the same kind of like moments I was making Satchel of Judas, I'm like, man, I gotta balance this out. What is the yin yang or the when you talk about what's the lawyer thing where it's got the lady holding?
Oh yeah, the scales.
Yeah,
scales of justice.
Yeah, that's it. The
scales of justice.
Scales of justice. So,
sounds like a Metallica song.
Yeah. So what came
Justice for all.
What came up next was Forgive, and I was like, all right, we got to balance this out because everyone's a little bit take it back because some of our names are pretty direct and powerful, and we want people to try them. And Satchel Juice has done very well. It's been super popular at the brewery. People love it, but I felt like I needed to do something to soften it a little bit, but also do the Christian thing here and show that
Did you feel bad about Satchel?
No, I didn't. No, because it was a personal thing. I just kind of like me. It was probably me personally just releasing not related at one particular person, maybe a couple different people. I can think of maybe like 12. And so then I was
That's
like
also a disciple.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
A disciple. So listen, man. If you and I ever get a beer named after us, we're fucked. Okay. Listen.
So we
the thorns of clover.
We're like,
you, me? No, you, me.
So I wanted to make a beer. I was working on a new IPA. It is a nice, clean IPA. This beer has been super popular. If you haven't been to the brewery yet, you better get up here because this one's almost gone. I think we're on the last half barrel of this as well. But this is Forgive, so this is an American IPA, 7.2. It's got a nice little booziness to it, but it also reminds us that, you know what, sometimes when you do good things in the world that, hey, somebody's going to hurt you, and whether it's in a marriage, a friendship, a relationship, a work relationship, school related, sports related. This is probably the hardest thing to do. And I was like, let's make a beer that like everybody can remember. And I think people relate to that sometimes. And so maybe that's why we went through this beer faster than any other IPA that we released lately. So does the name tie to selling? Maybe. I don't know. It's been pretty cool to see. So
well,
I drink like. If a beer has a cool name, sometimes I'll drink it just because.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Evan hit me in the face a couple weeks ago.
Here, do you want to try Forgive?
I forgave.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, a little.
Man, that opened my nostrils for a couple days. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Evan's reach, man. I'm telling you that wingspan got me. I wasn't covering
you still got to come down and bring some beers and watch us.
I wasn't covering my face.
Do a little tailgating.
I don't know if I can do that, guys. I'm an old fan.
No,
you can't just sit there.
Just sit in the stands.
Bring Satchel. Bring the Satchel.
Do they allow drinking?
Yes.
Yes.
Bring the Satchel.
It's got to be a soul cup.
Hey,
no.
Remember, this is a marketing opportunity.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
All right, I'm in for that.
Wear the shirt, wear the hat is a marketing opportunity.
Cross promotion.
Yeah, cross promotion.
Actually, yeah, that'd be great. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Are you ready?
Oh, boy. Yeah, I'll answer it honestly.
I'm going to put you on... Not you. I'm going to put you on the spot.
I can only answer honestly. That was one of my covenants.
If you had to name a beer after Evan and I, what would you name it?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Evan's sitting there like, yeah, what are you going to name?
Yeah.
What do you got?
If I had to name a beer after both of you guys, Wow. Two great people that I met in my life. That's what I would call
But like individually, though.
We
each get our own?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the joint. Oh, maybe that's the collab beer.
Okay.
Yeah, two great people I know.
Two great people I know. Yeah.
coming to a WestWind Brewery near you.
Hey, you can't tell me you wouldn't come and drink that?
Hell yeah, I'd drink that.
See?
Ugly Sweater Party this year. 2 great people I know.
Because
enough-
sometimes it's hard
do
to
you have
find
enough
2 great
space?
people that you know.
I don't know if you have enough space up there to write it down.
You know what? It would just be a symbol. The first beer at WestWind that's just a symbol. There it is.
If I had to come up with one, and I'm like you're pulling. I'm pulling. This is Jimmy Kimmel right now. I would call your beer Media Goat.
Ooh, Media Goat.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah,
All right.
I like that. You're
That's a good
pumping
one.
me up here.
And I actually would probably spell it goat, G.O.A.
Yeah, for sure.
Media Goat. I didn't need to do that. All right. Goat.
And then I got to come up with
Didn't need to do that.
I figured it'd just be mega, but
Yeah, it's got to have something. So anybody that doesn't know,
Yeah, explain the mega to
Okay,
us.
so yeah, we started. Obviously, we're in the middle of election time frame right now. Yeah, you got MAGA. You got the different campaign slogans going on. So I don't know. A couple podcasts ago when we were off there, I was like,
This is obviously not referring to a Kamala Harris campaign.
"No, it's." And Evan was getting into his whole health kick, and he went from kind of like me, where I'm a little chunky and marshmallowy, to being a ripped stallion.
Marshmallowy.
Yeah, I started calling him Mega, and that's make Evan great again. He started eating good, not drinking as much, and so yeah, I think I'd call Mega's beer Mega. I think when we still may do that just because I think it's great. We can put some protein shakes from.
There you go.
Actually, you can mix it with a little chocolate
Yeah,
and put it in a stout.
Yeah, make it a
That
stout.
would
Yeah,
be great.
Can you imagine we use Legacy's protein stout?
I love that.
Let's do that. Hey, that might be.
Can you make a protein stout?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I'll actually use Legacy stuff to. Yeah, we'll put some. Yeah, oh, absolutely.
That'd be sick.
You might have to start drinking again for that one. Protein
I'm sure we can make
stout
And
from Legacy.
Yeah, and we'll call it Mega. Yeah, and then you can
Wow.
subtitle it with that'd be good. See, listen, this is how ideas happen. But there you go. How's that for an on spot?
There you go. See,
Jeez,
we just
Pete.
had the next beer.
Next beer is planned up.
That's awesome. What else you got going on? We kind of already set the dates here for our podcast. So if you guys want to come out and watch the lives, some nights we're going to be later, like after dark.
Yep.
But some nights we will have it.
Here's live.
Yeah, got a lot of
Siri.
Yeah, Apple got into the mix.
Yeah, right. Got a lot of things coming down the pipeline. We've got if you haven't been to the brewery, we have an amazing lineup right now. I mean, you got Double Primus, you got Faithfully, we only brew it twice
Check
a
this
year.
lineup. Hold on, check this lineup.
Yeah. Well, Walking to Paradise in the background. Butchers and Beasts was one of our top-selling New England IPAs. It's been fantastic. It's actually outselling Primus at the moment. Obviously, Forgive has been an awesome IPA that everybody's loving. We got some Fresh Better Days up there. Satchel Judas was one of the newer beers. And Ice Delay Strawberry Lemonade, which is gluten-free, low-carb. If you're working out and you need to have a little cheat day, you can get that.
I had one.
And it's been selling. We've been selling at soccer games, at car shows, and it's been doing awesome. That series of that Ice Delay is really doing amazing. The last thing I'm going to plug real quick is coming up. We're going to do it against my will. We're going to do an Oktoberfest beer, which is a kind of like a lager pils, I guess you'd kind of say, like a crossblend, like a German style beer. Had somebody hit me up and say, hey, let's do this. And so it's got that order the grains, got a new yeast, which is great. And then I'm also working on a brand new New England IPA that's going to use a hop from, they're called Mackinac hops. So they're from Michigan.
Very cool.
Yeah, and so that's going to be coming down the pipeline. I'm working on that recipe. It's called Four Nails.
It's called what?
It's called Four Nails. So,
is that another reference as well? Like,
I don't know, maybe. Just keep the story, telling the story.
I want to hear that story now.
Yeah.
You got a story for that one?
Yeah, we'll save it for one of the future shows.
Got to keep it coming back from.
Yeah,
I cannot wait till Resurrection comes out, dude. Like that is going to be my favorite.
It's a good name for a beer,
It is a good name for a. You're welcome. You got 2 beer names tonight.
Right?
Is there anything else for the good of the order tonight? Did we miss anything tonight? Next podcast is going to be a banger, gentlemen. Have you been practicing your video games?
Nope.
I haven't played in a little while, but I'm going to tell you what, I'm a gamer. What format are we going with? Like is it, we play like are we gonna have like a little tournament? Like we'll play like everybody plays one like a quick round robin and then
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I haven't played football since Madden 01, so this,
We'll have to determine the game rules. How long the quarters are.
I would think that everybody plays a game. You play each other. The best whoever wins that one. So it'd be like probably 3 games, 4 games, or something like that.
So you said you're going to be Michigan or Ohio State during that game?
No, I'm going to be Notre Dame.
You be Notre Dame. I'll be Michigan.
I'd rather.
Oh yeah, are we picking
Orgy.
our teams or are we?
Yeah, we're picking our teams. I'm Wisconsin for sure.
Okay.
I've already picked. I'm Wisconsin.
All right. Well, I'm going with Michigan.
Michigan.
So,
Who you got?
I'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
Better look it up. Go with Texas.
You could probably be number 12, 13. You were 13.
13.
Put them in 99 stats.
Who else was 13?
Create a player.
Oh, what's his name's 13?
Evans.
What's his name's 13?
Evans shows up at 7 a.m. to create.
Riley
a player.
Leonard's 13.
He is?
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
they might go undefeated this year.
Does everybody know what we're doing though, Vahid? I don't know if we.
I don't think so. Go ahead, please.
All right, so we decided, like, if you're listening to the podcast, which you should, because it's a really cool podcast, but is that we're going to have a NCAA 25 celebration of it coming back. Because I played it through college. I mean, I was in college in '96. You know what I mean? And I played every year. I would stand in line. I remember going to UP Mall. What was it, EB Games?
Yeah.
And picking it up and getting my free T-shirt with NCAA football. So we decided we're going to have a little Varsity Brews live podcast with playing the game.
Not to, no pun intended. It's going to be one big orgy. Named after your quarterback.
Yeah, right.
He'll be on it.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. And apparently he's. They ranked him like a top 3 player on that game.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
All
Yeah,
right.
like they listed the top 3 players. The Texas quarterback was listed up there.
Viewers?
Ewers was listed. Orgy was like, but he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks on NCAA football 2025. So that should be fun. Got a PS5 in the basement. Might have a couple early morning cocktails. I don't know.
Pre-game.
That gives me hope because he'll be hammered by the time the game starts. So we got a chance at
They
it.
feed them.
I love it.
So we might have to get, or the 3 of us play against somebody else.
We could do that too. Yeah.
That might be, I don't know, maybe we might have to get Malik on there.
Can you imagine? Evan would probably yell at me because I'm not running the right route or something. I'd be like, want to be a wide receiver or something. I don't know.
All right, anything else for the good of the order?
I'm good, man. I'm happy in a lark. Trying to make a world.
Guys, thank you so much. This was a fun podcast. Very fun podcast. Very informative. I may have fucked up once or twice. It's okay.
It happens. You gotta forgive. No. Oh, was that a plug?
Well, I'm carrying around a satchel of cheese, so yeah. Nails.
Yeah.
Nails.
4 nails.
4 nails. Guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, man. Thank you. All right, the Varsity Brews podcast, again, is brought to you by our good friends at, hold on, let me pull it up here. I got this, stand by for news. Hold on. I got it on the screen right there. Brought to you by Legacy Performance. It's brought to you by WestWind Brewery. And it's brought to you by Rustic Rocks. This is the Varsity Brews podcast. We will see you guys on the next episode.